Our guest today is an instructor at Donley's Music. He's been teaching guitar for many, many years, and we're real glad to have him. We talk about everything from music to his faith to being healed from MS. We have a powerful testimony for him to share today, and sit down and listen to our conversation with Mr. Greg Montgomery. Greg, appreciate you coming sit down with us here
yes,
today.
Sir. Glad to do it.
So you seem pretty unfamiliar with podcasts. It's pretty much just a conversation.
Okay.
The kind of thing, talking to folks, getting to know them. We've named this podcast Gettin in Tune. And
Okay.
I think that's a cool little name. It kind of ties in with the music business, like what we got going.
Sure.
But it's also getting in tune with some of these interesting people that come in the store. And we got a lot of, interesting people. Some of them's weirdos, but some of them's interesting too.
We're musicians.
You know,
right?
so we got a good group here, and I've just kind of been going through some of the teachers as we go, so people can get to know the teachers and people we're working with. I think we got a good group of folks here.
Yeah,
I really
sure
do. And you were, I first got in having this idea, it was years ago, and I've said this on every episode, they're just going to have to fast forward through this part, but I had this idea, it wasn't an idea for me to do it, but years ago, there was a bunch of these bluegrassers. You know, I'm a bluegrasser in the bluegrass world. We had a little stretch there several months where we lost a lot of them, some of the older folks and even some of the younger folks. And I told Amy, I said, man, I wish somebody had sit down with some of these folks and got some of those stories, because a lot of those stories go away when they do.
Amen.
And then Dave died. And Amy says, don't you wish you'd have just sit down with him and done that?
Yep.
So here I am sitting with you.
Right.
You're the senior member of the Donley's music crew, ain't you?
I reckon I'm the OG.
And you've been hanging around the Donley scene for quite a while, ain't you?
Yeah,
When did you become acquainted with?
I think I met Dave in 82 or 83.
Okay, so it's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Been a while, right? And been, I guess, associated with Donley's music to some capacity as a friend of the store and all that stuff for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
And you've been teaching here for how long? You've been teaching with us now?
I've been teaching about 2 years now.
2 years now?
Right,
Okay,
right.
that's good. We're proud to have you.
Well, thank
Proud to have you. And so if you had to tell folks, obviously you teach guitar.
you.
And you've been playing guitar for 100 years, probably,
At least,
right?
Maybe 120.
120?
Yeah.
Well, what got you into that?
Well, my family's musical.
Okay.
Everybody plays. My dad played, so we all want to be like Dad. And,
Right.
And he taught us G, C, and D, which was basically what he knew.
Right.
He wasn't an amazing player, but his timing was impeccable, and everybody
Right.
liked to play with him because of that.
Some people's born with that.
Amen.
It's
yeah.
in them.
He had that. Yeah.
That's not in me.
No,
I've had to work at mine.
I work on mine
What
too.
little dab I've got, I
Yeah.
have to work at.
Yeah.
So you said that he taught all of y'all how to play. Big family?
Yeah, I'm from a family of 6, 5 boys and 1 girl. Everybody plays except for one brother.
Really?
And a sister played piano some, but I don't know if she plays anymore.
Well, why did he
But,
not pick it up?
I don't have a clue. I don't.
Just
Yeah.
didn't have the interest in it?
Well, he played a little piano when he was younger, but he never picked up the guitar.
Right.
My oldest brother, Eugene, he's 87 now. He still plays on occasion, but he was a pastor, so he grew up as, playing at church.
Right. And your dad was a preacher too?
My dad was a preacher as well.
Right. And so I'd imagine you grew up on gospel music.
Certainly did. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way a lot of folks got into
Yeah.
it. And,
Yeah.
there's a lot of benefit to that.
Mhm.
The old hymns and stuff, a lot,
I
most
love
of them's pretty simple, but,
Yep.
but they need to be.
Yep. Still
That's
love
what
it.
I think.
Still love
So,
it.
kind of music you play is what? If you had to describe what your niche is, what your specialty is, what would you describe it as?
Well, I grew up wanting to be Chad Atkins. I had a brother that could play like Chad. In fact, he had an opportunity once to play with Chad. I'm not sure what happened, but he didn't do that. But I grew up with a thumb pick, so I kind of had that Chester and Lester thing going. But,
Sure.
Somehow I gravitated to jazz.
Okay.
And I absolutely love jazz music because of the strange chords that are in there.
There's a lot of them.
They are, and I love chords.
Okay.
So there's
Different voices and stuff.
different voicing, right?
Yeah. How many chords can we fit in one of these?
4,612 if you do it right.
I'm on 4. I figured 4 out so far myself. So you kind of fancy yourself kind of a jazz connoisseur if you had to put it in a box.
If I listen to music, and I don't listen to a whole lot of music, but
Right.
if I do listen, I'm listening.
That
to
seems to
jazz.
be a common thread that a lot of people come in the store, they have a hard time believing that us people that's around it all the time don't listen to it for fun.
Right.
I think we talked to John. I think he mentioned that he don't listen to a lot of music. I don't listen to hardly any.
No.
I've heard most of it. If I'm listening,
sure,
most of the time it's to learn something or out of curiosity, just see what's going on. And that's most of my musical intake, you know, and that seems to be a little more normal than people think with people that play music a lot at a certain point. So you play guitar primarily, right? Did you ever dabble with any other instruments?
I was actually church pianist when I was a young man.
Really now?
I wasn't a good church pianist, but old gospel, 1-5 on the left hand and a little bit of melody on the right. But, till I was about 15, I was a church pianist.
Do you still play the piano any?
I have one. I use it to teach theory with the black notes and the white notes. Right. But I can play, just not well.
Right. But you know, it's up here. You just can't get it in here.
It's in there. Yeah, exactly.
I feel that way about a lot of stuff. I know how to do a lot more than I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why some people go to teaching.
Yeah, I've forgotten a whole lot over the years.
Right. So you were raised up in the church, playing at the church. Where are you from?
Well, I was a little bit everywhere. I was born in Kentucky. Didn't live there but 2 weeks. So I don't remember much about that.
Right.
And then we moved to Virginia, Steep Rock, Virginia, and then Pennington Gap, Virginia. When I was 5, we moved to a place called Fields of Wood in Murphy, North Carolina. And
pretty famous little landmark now, isn't it?
Right. And I kind of call that home because I was there longer than
Fields of the Woods.
Right.
So for people that ain't familiar with Fields of the Woods, it's I don't know the measurements on it, but I know there's a lot of steps going up there.
There's a lot of steps. It has the 10 Commandments on the side of a mountain is the kind of the main drawing, 6-foot high letters. Yeah, and
it's
lot
huge.
Of steps up to the top.
It's a lot of steps.
A lot of steps.
It's rough on a fat boy.
That's right.
It's rough on a fat boy.
It is indeed.
It's a lot of steps, but it's really cool. Anybody that's never seen that, I highly recommend going up there to check it out.
It's very unique.
Go up there, take a weekend trip, something like that.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So you were raised up right there. You told me a lot of times here in the store, you was raised up living in the basement of that church up there?
There was a church that had kind of a parsonage in the basement, and that was our home.
Right. And your dad was pastor of that church.
He was pastor there, sure was.
Right.
And he also did a lot of the caretaking up Fields of Wood. He's a bulldozer operator, concrete guy, and that's right.
So you said there was 9 of y'all, I think?
No, there's 6.
Kids. Six. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I guess that was labor force, right?
Well, we're kind of two different families. There were 3 kids 2 years apart. And then 9 years later, there are 3 more kids 2 years apart.
Right. Well, they decided they need a little more help.
I reckon so. Yeah. So like I say, Eugene is 87, and I'm sneezing. I'll be 70. So there's a little bit of age gap in there. But yeah, it's
a lot of youngins to feed.
That's a lot of youngins to feed. So, but we weren't all 6 at home at one time. Is kind of what
well, that helps a little bit living in that basement, doesn't it?
Hey, man. I didn't have a room, and there was a walk-through closet in there. So I had them get me a folding cot that I put in the closet. And
like an army cot type thing?
That was my room.
Hey.
First room I ever had all by myself.
Hey, that's all right. Shut the door.
There was no door.
Oh, wow.
His walk-through. Anyway. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so you've been teaching for quite a while, right?
I have.
So you teach here at the store at Donley's Music, and you also teach at home.
I do.
You've been teaching for quite a while. When did you get into teaching?
I was trying to think of that coming up. My boys wanted to learn to play, and I kind of had quit playing for a while, and so I had to get back into it to teach them. And,
sure.
And they started getting really good, so I had to work really hard to stay in front of them.
Right.
So I probably started teaching in 87 or 88.
Okay, so
like
pretty good while.
Yeah,
pretty good while.
Yeah.
So that's what got you into teaching, was you got these kids running around, and they want to learn how to play guitar like Daddy.
And they had friends, and their friends wanted to learn.
Right.
So that kind of helped.
So you got them trained up. So the Montgomery music line runs pretty strong, right?
It's deep. Everybody plays. Grandchildren play. Yeah, very well too. So
this is interesting to me too, because I've not taught near as long as you, or I've not been alive as long as you've been teaching.
That's true.
But it seems like some families just have it. I think it's some people say it's in their blood or something.
It is.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not real sure. I definitely think that it is, though, because my dad's brothers played as well, and I don't know. It's just, if you grow up with it, you just want to be a part of it.
Right. Do you think it's growing up around it and hearing it a lot? I think that's always a good thing, just being exposed to it.
Sure. Right.
And how it's done, because you pick up on a lot of stuff.
Right.
I remember when I was trying to learn, my grandpa played guitar and a little bit of mandolin. He had an old banjo, and I want to learn how to play the banjo. I'm still want to learn how to play the banjo.
You play great.
No, I don't know about that. But, you know, he messed around with one a little bit. But I remember guitar and stuff, I don't remember struggling with it as much because I was exposed to it. Not that I'm any good at it, but, you know, the stuff that my grandpa knew, I feel like I caught on to it because I was exposed to that a lot more. He played that primarily. And the first time I was ever around anybody playing a 3-finger style banjo, it was I don't know, there's a bluegrass band playing somewhere around, you know, and we went and seen it. That's the first time I'd ever seen that in person.
Right.
And I remember saying, this guy's got to be a genius to be able to do all this, you know, put it together. And then after the show, we went over and tried to talk to him, and he was about as backwards as I am. And I remember thinking at a young age, well, good grief, if he can do it, I can figure it out.
There you go.
I got as much sense as he does. I probably don't, but being around it, being exposed to it, it's possible.
Maybe, but you know, most people listen to music. Most people grow up listening to music, but you know, as far as the desire to play it, I'm not really sure how that comes to be. But I think it's just in you. It's a gift from the Lord. I
agree with that too.
Right,
if there's somewhere in the Bible talking about Jubal. Jubal was the father of the harp, and it says that his descendants will have aptitude toward the harp, something like that in there. Don't quote me on that. I ain't up on my scripture word for word there, but I choose to believe, because I've taught a lot of people, when you sit down in a little room downstairs, you can tell early on if somebody's going to catch on pretty quick, usually within the first lesson or two.
Exactly. No
and I'm of the belief that anybody can learn how to play to a certain extent. Everybody has to approach it differently. Some people catch on quickly.
Right.
And what's easy for you, one person might be the difficult thing for somebody else, and vice versa.
Right.
So I've had to teach a lot of people just to play by memory. Count your beats out and change chords at this point, because I didn't think tone deaf existed.
Hey, it does.
It does.
You've heard some people sing, right?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, me too. I didn't think that existed. I really didn't, because you get everybody saying, "Oh, I'm tone deaf." No, most people ain't.
Right.
But I've run into a couple that I've tested them, and they can't tell the difference between an E and a F. You know, if I play the notes simultaneously, it sounds the same to them, and that's a struggle. Have you ever dealt with anything like that in teaching?
Not to that extent.
I've only had one.
Right. But you can tell early on though if somebody's going to do it or not.
Yeah.
I tell people that guitar is the easiest instrument to learn to play, and the hardest to learn to play right.
Right.
I've played 60-something years, and I still don't know how to play it right. But
I enjoy whatever right is. Right?
Whatever right.
That's a matter of opinion, and it's subjective. But to do anything at a high level takes a lot of dedication to it, and it don't come all at one time. No. And it's a lifelong journey. So I always tell folks, you just got to have realistic expectations. It don't happen quick, and everybody has a different ceiling.
Sure. And you go through phases as well. I'm nowhere near the player that I once was, but I enjoy it more than I ever have.
Right.
So there's that.
Well, there's a certain maturity that comes along with that too. And I think part of it's aging, I think.
Right.
And I think another part of it is you accumulate this vocabulary over time. You know, all these little tidbits of ideas and chords and voice in your world, all these different chords and all these different things. And a lot of the young folks in the bluegrass, where they want to play everything they can play all at one time.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily fit the song. You know, it's not tasteful is the term I use for it. So that maturity of, well, it's a funny little thing, because as you go through time, your physical capabilities tend to start leaving you.
Exactly.
But if you're studying all this stuff, you know more than you ever knew the older that you get. Right. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Right.
So, you know, there's a lot of these, which nowadays everybody can play, it seems like, with all the access to information.
Sure.
It seems like there was an ocean of information. If you want to learn how to play, now is definitely the time to do it.
You bet.
Because, you know, whether it's in-person lessons, which I highly recommend starting out at least.
Sure. Right.
Because you get that feedback and some guidance going in the right direction. And then you have access to unlimited online resources and stuff like that.
Sure. Right.
It seems like it's an ocean of information that you can drown in.
Yeah, you can get too much.
I think so.
Right. I teach theory because I understand theory, but I don't want people to get bogged down in theory.
Right.
Theory just gives you some options that you can play, but you know, when you teach a scale, you don't well, you don't sing. You're singing in a scale, but you don't sing do, re, mi.
Right,
You're doing
right.
different variants of that. And that's kind of what I try. I just give you different options that you can do with the theory
Right.
part of it.
Here's
But,
your
right.
here's your options. Pick which one.
Exactly. What do you like?
Right.
It doesn't matter what I like. 'Cause
Right.
You're playing.
And that takes a while to figure out what you like.
Don't it? Yes.
It sure
That's
do.
the truth.
It sure do. So you mentioned that you didn't play much for a long time.
Mhm.
What got you out of that?
Well, my brother, one of my brothers, Bob, was an amazing musician. He is again, but he was in Lefebvre studio doing some studio work, and he was his own worst critic. So when he heard the playback, he didn't like it.
That's a musician thing.
That's exactly.
Musicians are the most negative bunch of people
There's
you'll
no
ever meet
doubt
in your
about
life.
it. We're a needy bunch. But he told Milam, he said, "Well, Milam, I'm done." And Milam said, "Milam Lefebvre." He said, "No, we're not finished yet." He said, "No, you don't understand. I'm done." And this is a man who played 7 hours a day for 20 years.
Right.
Put a 1959 Gibson ES 345 in the case and never played it again.
Really?
I bought it from him, and it was just kind of there. I played it for a while, but I was a little intimidated by the guitar because he had owned it.
Right.
And you know, I know what he had made the guitar sound like. So I was newly married, and
Life happened.
Life got busy.
Yeah.
So it sat in the corner.
Sat in there. Yep.
Yeah, for 7-8 years.
Really?
Right.
You tired of spending your money with these corporate chains that don't share the same values that you do? Well, at Freedom Cafe in Macedonia, Georgia, they stand for faith, family, and freedom. It's not just a motto, it's their way of life. And you can taste it in everything that they serve. From acai bowls packed with fresh fruit and flavor, to clean energy teas that keep you going without the crash, to handcrafted bubble teas, protein shakes, matcha lattes, and iced coffee, this place really has it all. It's the perfect stop for folks who want to feel good about what they're drinking and who they're supporting. No questionable agendas, no corporate nonsense, just better ingredients, better people, and better values. So go ahead, save your bucks and still drink like a star. Don't give in to the green logo chains pushing their woke politics. Support a place that shares the same values and beliefs as you. Be subscribed to the Donley's Music YouTube channel and get $1 off any order $10 or more. Follow Freedom Cafe on Instagram and Facebook at Freedom Cafe _ to see what's new, what's fresh, and what's brewing. Freedom Cafe, faith, family, and freedom. A better way to fuel your day. But you got back into it to teach those kids and everything.
Exactly. Right.
And we've talked about it a lot. One of the main reasons I wanted to have you in here is to share your story. You lost your playing at one point, didn't you?
I certainly did, yeah. In the early 90s, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And with MS, there's things that you don't feel, like feet and hands and things like that.
Right.
And music kind of requires the hands to work.
Yeah, it sure do.
And it was very frustrating. And I had played with a bunch of guys for years, and a very talented bunch of guys. So the theory and everything was very high up, and I wasn't anymore.
Right.
So I let that go. And in that time, I was closing a business too because of the health issues.
Right.
So,
and what business did you have?
I was a photographer for about 27 years.
Okay.
I photographed children.
Yeah.
And I traveled to Southeast, and we did real good. It was a wonderful business.
Very cool. Even being around all those kids.
It was. It's a whole different world. Then I'll back up just a little bit. Like I say, Dad was a preacher, and I left home at 15 to kind of get away from church.
Right.
So I moved from Ohio to Georgia to move in with a brother of mine who was a photographer. So that's kind of where I learned that trade, was from him. And back then it was an amazing business.
Sure.
There weren't digital cameras and things like that.
Right. It actually took some skill.
It took skill, and we put photographs on paper. I don't know if you've ever seen a paper picture before,
Right?
And hung them on the wall.
Right.
But like I say, I ran a circuit for years with that, and I was doing a second generation people, so we had a really good business. So,
right.
But anyway, when I went through the MS, I was closing that business.
Okay. Now, not to cut you off, but MS, for folks that ain't familiar, we've all heard of it, but exactly what is it?
It's multiple sclerosis. Is your nerves are coated with myelin. It's like an electric wire with a coating on it.
Sure.
And that begins to dissipate. And So the brain can tell this finger to move, but the signal doesn't get there because it's a broken circuit.
Shorted out.
Short circuit, exactly.
So that affects pretty much all your motor skills, everything about you, right?
Pretty much. I walked with a cane because I had zero balance. I was a bull in a china shop if I went out anywhere, so I kept the cane to keep from breaking stuff, walking through the store. And like I say, I was photographing children, so I was holding people's, number one priority in life. And that was kind of scary for a while. I didn't tell people that I had MS for a long time, until I couldn't.
So with that stuff in a physical manner, is it a gradual thing that gets worse progressively?
It can be. There's several different types of it.
Sure.
Relapsing, remitting, or
right. And exactly what were you diagnosed with?
I don't remember, if you know the truth.
Well, that's good.
I've kind of just blocked that part of my life out.
Very good. So from what I understand, you had a hard time getting around.
I did. Right.
Use of your motor skills. Didn't you say you had some blurred vision? Maybe?
I had double vision.
Double vision.
Right. In fact, I had a T-shirt made that said, "I'm not drunk, I have MS," because you kind of look the characteristics for that of drinking.
Right.
Speech was slurred, and there's nothing consistent with it, and you didn't know what would happen. It was a little different every day. You'd wake up to see what worked that day and what didn't.
Right.
So there's no consistency to it.
Right. And this was what time period? What year would this have been?
This is early 90s, 2003.
Early 90s, right in that range. About
the
time I was coming up.
Yeah, I wasn't diagnosed then.
Right.
But it was early, and like I say, with MS, the fatigue doesn't fit the job, and fatigue is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd leave home to go on a trip, and 30 minutes down the road, I have to stop and pull over and take a nap.
Right. Because your body's going crazy.
All of a sudden, it just hits you.
Right.
And so you didn't really know what to expect.
Right. And you're how old now?
I'm gonna be 70 if I sneeze in just a few minutes.
Just a few minutes, you'll be 70. Yeah. Well, I seen you walk in here.
Right. Yeah.
And I see you walk around the store.
Amen. Yeah.
And well, what's that about? If you got this horrible disease, that doesn't seem there's a whole lot of treatments for it. I'm sure there are, but there's from what I understand, there's no cure per se. But you've got the cure for it. Don't you?
I got the cure. I met the guy that had the cure. Like I said, I grew up in church, and I left at 15 to get away from it, and I didn't go. I married a young lady that would take our sons to church,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't go with her. But on a rare occasion, I would, but it's not something I really wanted to do.
Sure.
Before I was diagnosed, as I was traveling, I started listening to Christian radio, talk radio,
mm-hmm.
just to keep me awake more than anything else, right? Because there were a lot of 4 or 5 hour trips involved in it, and I got a call. Well, I used to take a power nap every day just because MS it's the fatigue is such a big part of it. It will just knock you out just all of a sudden. I'm talking to you and then I'm asleep.
Sure.
So there was it was just crazy. But anyway, my wife woke me up one day, and she said, "There's a guy on the phone wants to talk to you." Well, it kind of made me mad because she never would wake me up.
Right.
And I said, "Well, who is it?" She said, "Well, I don't know." So I picked up the phone. And he said, "This is David Zachariah." He said, "I'm not really sure why I've called, but I felt like I was supposed to." And so now I'm kind of really mad because I don't know if he's a salesman or of mm-hmm. some sort. And somehow it came up with a mutual friend of ours named Casper McLeod.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, yeah." So that I changed a little bit. I said, "Yeah, I know Casper." I said, I work on his guitars." He said, "Oh, you work on guitars?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I play. And he said, "Oh, you play guitar?" And so now it's getting where I can stand him.
Yeah.
He's okay. And so I finally got real comfortable with him, and it got around to where I told him about my diagnosis of MS. He said, "Now I know why I've called."
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a list of scriptures on healing, and I'm writing them down. I still have that list.
Do you?
I do. This was early 90s, or late 96, I guess, early 97. And so he had made it as an artist. He was being played on a contemporary Christian radio station. So he sent me a tape that he had done.
Sure. A tape.
It was tapes back then, right? It wasn't albums, but it was tapes. But I was on my way to Montgomery, Alabama, to do some photography work. My mother was having open heart surgery that day in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So the kind of guy I was going to go make some more money while my mother was having. Anyway, I was a pretty good jerk back then.
Right.
But I'm driving down the road, and I put in his tape, and he had a song that's for you, about healing. He said, for you, he'll heal anything. Well, that kind of got my attention, and I was just a little, maybe south of Auburn, Alabama, on the way to Montgomery, and I put in a Phil Keaggy tape, and it wasn't any lyrics. It was just strictly music. But that kind of separated me from my feeling sorry for myself that I had gone through for a while.
Sure.
Just kind of escaped into the music. And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to do this by myself.
Right.
And I thought about all that Dad had taught us as kids growing up in the church. And so I asked God to save me driving down I-85 on my way to Montgomery, Alabama. Right. Probably doing about 85 miles an hour, knowing me.
No, surely not.
Anyway, but and I tell the story that things just instantly changed.
Right.
Nothing changed physically. I still had MS, and as far as that, but the nervousness of the MS just kind of left me.
The fear of it, the
fear,
worry.
It's just like he said, "I got you. It's okay. We'll be fine." And so I called Barbara first, my wife, to let her know what I'd done, and then I called my father, who was in the hospital with my mom, and that was a pretty good call.
Yeah.
Right. So fast forward a little bit. Actually, a little over that. That was March the 13th, 1997.
Right. That's your birthday.
That's my birthday, exactly. That's the important one. But and MS had progressed to the point of where I was pretty feeble.
Right.
I weighed 135, 140 pounds, something like that, because with the nerves, the eating just wasn't a priority anymore.
Sure.
And so and again, I went through this period of really feeling sorry for myself still, because new Christians, you just can't just throw it all.
You're a toddler in it.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm a toddler at this point. And I'd gone to visit Dad, and I was talking about losing the music and all that, because it had been a part of all of us. And he said, "You're not going to lose your music." And I went, "Well, I kind of already am."
Right.
And but March the 14th was a year and a day after I was saved. My father died.
Right.
And my father was he was such a driving force in our lives. You can't really explain it to people, because they just don't understand it.
They don't make them like that much
no more.
They do
not. He was an amazing man. Like I said, I left home at 15 to get away from him, and he's the man that I aspire to be.
Sure.
I'll never be him, but I really want to.
There's a lot of prayers probably when all that.
Amen. Isn't that the truth? But like I say, that was in '98 when he passed. And again, I was on a photo shoot. I was actually in Auburn, Alabama again, and instead of doing what I used to do before I got saved, I'd stay in the motel room and watch Christian TV.
Probably a better use of your time.
A little bit better, and you didn't have the hangover the next morning too. That was
Right.
awfully nice as well. But I was watching CBN, Christian Broadcasting Network, and when they were going off, I just felt like I was supposed to call them. So I did. I called the number, and this gentleman answered the phone, and we talked. And at that point, I was getting ready to close the business. So I called mainly for prayer about closing the business, just direction for what I wanted to be when I grew up, because I'd done that for a long time.
Right.
And that's what I was known as, was Mr. Greg the photographer.
Right. Did well at it.
It did well. We ate very good. It was an amazing business once upon a time. But we had prayer about that, and he said, "Well, there's something else." And I said, "Well," so I told him about the MS, and we had another prayer. And in the midst of that prayer, I just felt this warming sensation. It was it wasn't lightning bolts or anything like that. It was just very subtle, and I almost felt like I was being dipped in a vat of warm water.
Right.
It was very soothing, and I didn't know what to think about it. So I thanked him and hung up the phone. And in my spirit, I felt like something said, "Get up." So I swung around and put my feet on the motel room floor, and I could feel the floor. And
First time in a long time?
It had been some time since that had been a thing. And so I got up and danced around the room a little bit, shouted around a little bit. I was overjoyed.
Sure.
I didn't really know how to categorize it, what had gone on, but I knew something had happened.
Right.
So I finally calmed down enough to get some sleep, and I got up to go to work the next morning, and my balance was off, and I grabbed my cane and went to work just like I'd done for some time. And when I got home that evening, I called Barbara, and I told her what I had experienced the night before. And that sweet little redheaded lady yelled at me. She said, "That was your healing. Claim that as your healing." I said, "What do you mean claim it?" She said, "Well, that's your healing till you accept it. It's not yours, but if you accept it, it's yours."
Amen.
And so that sounded like a pretty good deal to me. So I said, "Okay,
I'll take it.
I'll take it." So over the period of next 2 or 3 days, things started to work because I did accept that as my healing.
Right.
I had fallen down my steps at home the Thursday before I went to Auburn because, like I say, with MS, there's things you don't feel like feet. And,
Sure.
And I busted it pretty good. I got up a long time before I wanted to because I didn't want her to find me on the steps.
Right.
I got home on Sunday, and Monday we walked to the top of Kennesaw Mountain.
It's a pretty good little trip.
That's a pretty good difference from falling down the steps to walking up a mountain.
It sure is.
I took my cane with me because it went with me everywhere I went. I didn't use it. I just carried it. Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case. Cane's name was Lula May. You have to name your cane. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. You learn stuff in here.
I do. I still have Lula May. I keep her on my studio wall just as a remembrance, and people ask questions about it, so that opens up a door to tell what God's done for me.
Very
Right?
good.
Yeah.
So you was healed
I was healed. Amen. Straight up.
for that old disease that's not reversible.
That's
right?
May 28th, 1998.
Right. And we just had an anniversary of that, didn't we?
We
How long
sure
has it
did.
been?
27 years.
27
Right.
years.
Yeah.
That's good news, brother.
It is. I was told by the second neurologist that I would be in a wheelchair in 5 years when I was in there. I think that was in '96 when I finally saw him. And so CBN, the same people that I was talking to when I was healed, would talk to them, and they wanted to come do my story.
Sure.
So I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to." And they wanted me to do another MRI. Well, that kind of made me mad. I thought, "What? Are you doubting me?" And I realized that they wanted confirmation.
Sure.
So I said, "Sure." So I was able to go back to the guy that told me that I'd be in a wheelchair in 5 years. He had died by then, right? But I went back to his office and did it, and it was a female neurologist this time, and she said after it was all done, she said, "Well, you have a history of MS." I said, "I sure do."
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yes, sir.
I said, "If you cut yourself, you've got a cut, but it heals, and you may have a scar, and that scar would be the history of the cut.
Sure.
But you don't have a cut anymore.
That's right.
You've just got proof that you had a cut."
Right.
So that's kind of what that second MRI, there was, gosh, by then it was the third or fourth or fifth maybe. But
So what are these doctors that's dealt with you over the course of all this stuff? What did they have to say about something like this?
Well, they don't much like it.
Not saying that they want you to be sick necessarily.
No, that's not.
They
that.
can't explain it.
Right, the science behind it is not there. So when CBN came to do the story, I went back to I wanted my optometrist to do it. He chose to not, but he's the one that kind of got me realizing that I had an issue to start because of the double vision and all that. But he's just a great guy. But anyway, and my neighbor was a GP as well, so they kind of got me in touch with the right people to do that. But they can't explain it because you just can't. And people,
you can explain it though.
I can, but people like to say, "Well, you may have been misdiagnosed." I said, "Well, Nancy Weiner diagnosed me. She's an ophthalmologist, neurologist, and when you call her name, all the ophthalmologists go, ooh,
her,
yeah, Nancy, yeah." In fact, I just had a eye appointment 6 months ago, I guess, and I was telling, because I have to share this story, you know, I can't not. And I was sharing it with the ophthalmologist there, and she said, well, you know, you must have been misdiagnosed. And I said, well, Nancy Weiner. I said, do you know Nancy Weiner? She said, oh, yes. I send everybody to her. I said, well, she's the one that diagnosed me. And that completely changed her thoughts on it.
Isn't that funny, though, how much faith we put in other people? This Nancy lady, I don't know who that is, but, you know, she wouldn't dare make a mistake, but there's no chance that God healed you.
Exactly.
According to a lot of people.
Exactly.
It's funny how much faith we'll put in people.
Yeah, it's true.
Even though
to
talk to anybody, just about everybody you'll talk to say, well, you know, everybody messes up.
Sure.
Well, you know, that is true. We are all faulty.
Do it daily. Right.
So, I've only known one other person with this story, and that's Miss Lois Weeks.
Exactly.
And she was, I think she might have been a little worse off than you. She couldn't get around and help herself and everything.
Right.
And they were in the ministry full time when this was happening to Miss Lois. And, she gets around better than we do.
She sure does.
She sure do.
She sure does. Yep.
So the only two people I've ever met that have had this, and I'm sure there's others.
There's more.
I'm sure there are, but that I know, they have something in common.
Yep.
And they'll tell you what the cure to that is.
Amen.
And I think that's the main reason I wanted you in here today to tell that.
Yep.
So there's no side effects to this day from that?
No, I've gained a few pounds and
eating good.
Eating good, yeah.
Attention, local musicians. If you're looking for a place to share your music, test out a new song, or just hang out with some cool folks, you need to check out Open Mic Night at Reformation Brewery in Gettin. It takes place the fourth Wednesday of every month, and it's hosted by our buddy Kurt Wheeler. You'll get a 10-minute slot to share your original music, cover your favorite song, or play your favorite instrumental. Whether you're a veteran to the stage or looking to just get your feet wet for the very first time, this is the place to do it. It's free to sign up, and all skill sets and ages are welcome. The lineup fills up fast, so don't wait around. Get signed up today. Get signed up at reformationbrewery.com/openmic. That's reformationbrewery.com/OPENMIC.
All that, you know, I closed the business, and this is a little tidbit on music world as well. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up because I'd always done photography. So I traveled a lot, so I bought a lot of cars. So I said, well, I'll just go sell cars because I know how that works.
Right.
So I went down, I got a job selling cars, and I got the car to go home after the guy said, yeah, you got the job. And my car phone rang.
Car phone?
Well, it was a big car phone.
Bougie, man.
Oh, man, I was bougie.
Greg Montgomery is bougie.
I was bougie. And it was my wife. And she said, Gary Jennings called you. And I said, well, okay, I'm headed out. I'll give him a call. And so I called Gary, and he answered the phone, and he very rarely answered the phone because he had people do that for him.
Sure.
And I said, hey, Gary, it's Greg, what's up? He said, you want a job? I said, well, I don't know. I'm thinking, Lord, in a music store? You know, we were doing 6 figures a year with photography, and I didn't think that music stores would pay that.
Right.
And I was right. They didn't.
They sure don't. They sure don't. I guarantee you they don't.
So anyway, I wound up working for Gary for 2 years.
Right.
And I learned more about myself then than you know, it was a God thing to send me there for sure.
Sure.
It was. And like I say, I was newly healed, newly saved, and I didn't know what I was doing.
And it sounds like your priorities were changing.
Instead
of that 6 figures, you were into triple figures at the music store, right?
Right. Yeah.
But your priorities seemed like they shifted with that experience of being dipped in the hot water, as you described it.
Yeah.
So, you know, the almighty dollar isn't really the end all be all.
No, it's not. It's fun. Dollars are needed. You know, we like to eat, and there's all that.
They're fun coupons is what they're all.
Exactly. The faith part of that, we never missed a meal.
Sure.
Man, we never missed a meal. Now our lifestyle changed. It sure did, and it needed to. And it wasn't. She was awesome. I was the problem.
Right.
You know.
So you got you a good woman behind you.
I have an amazing woman. That'd be 53 years in August.
That's a long time to put up with you, Greg.
She should have left me a long time ago. I would have left me a long time
ago. But ain't
we
glad she did.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
She's an amazing lady. She just truly is. Yeah.
So you started working for Mr. Jennings. Well, that would have been what, mid-90s?
That was 98.
Right. I guess. So the car salesman, that was short-lived.
I didn't even go there.
Didn't even sell a car.
I did.
So you're no good at selling cars.
I probably would have been, but anyway. So I went straight over to Jennings, and
Right.
I went to work for Gary.
And what do you have you doing?
I was teaching, and I used my business side of it. I brought in Taylor guitars and some of the other.
Well,
We kind of helped the store a little bit.
Sure. Very cool.
Upgraded maybe a tad. Not that it needed, because he did fine. He was a teaching store as well.
Sure.
But he had some good. David Martin was there, who understood all the music as well. But and I taught there. I had a good group of students there. In fact, I'd go in and work at 10 o'clock, and I'd finish up at 8 o'clock at night. So there were some long days involved.
I know that feeling.
Yeah,
I know that feeling.
You sure do. Yes, sir. Right. But yeah, like I say, it was good. I learned a whole lot about myself.
Right.
I was a smoker back then too. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day for a lot of years. And all the Christian folks come. I said, well, you're gonna have to quit that. And I said, well, the Lord hadn't told me to quit that yet. Right. Well, one day he kind of did.
A little tap on the shoulder.
Little tap on the shoulder. He said, "This is kind of hurting your witness." And I went, "Okay, I see that."
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy. And my oldest granddaughter was born in '99, and that was pretty good incentive too to stop.
Yeah.
So
you want to be around a little longer.
Exactly. I wanted to hang around and see her be married. Well, she's married now, so
right.
that's. Yeah. But I haven't smoked in 25 years.
Very good.
So,
very cool. Very cool.
But the Jennings thing was a good deal. I didn't stay there because of some issues that I needed to move on with.
Sure.
So, right. But so I left there. I actually went to work for a student of mine from Jennings.
Okay.
And I worked for him for a couple of years, and that it was kind of a temporary thing as well. But then a job came up in the print business, not printing itself, but in consumables for printing presses.
Right.
So I went to work for Paysetter Graphic Service. I worked there for 18 years.
Right.
That's what I retired from.
Right. And that's about the time you started here, a little bit after that, right?
No. Well, you mean
after you retired from there.
Oh, yeah. Once I retired from there. I came up here one day, and Dave was my buddy. We were good friends for lots and lots of years, and anything I had a problem with, I could talk to Dave about it.
Sure.
And he talked to me about stuff too. We were just tight. And I was up here one day. He said, "Well, Greg, since you retired, would you come teach for me?" I said, "Well, Dave, I'm retired."
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I might have had something to do with that. I pestered Dave ever since I met you. The first time I met you was here in the store, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, I like that old boy. I was like, he kind of rambles around like Bugs Bunny. You know, he's a little reckless. He got a need for speed.
We're pretty good.
But, there's something about him. I just like it. And I've always enjoyed hanging out with you and talking with you. You're one of my favorite people.
Lord bless
and
right.
we got a good group of folks here.
Sure
we
do.
really do.
You sure do. Right.
I don't know. The more personalities you introduce, especially with musicians, because they're just normal and laid back, and
right.
A bunch of weirdos
they
is what musicians
weird.
are.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what they are. But
I was gonna say, you don't know musicians.
I do too.
Yeah, you do.
But the more personalities you get involved, it seems like you're asking for conflict and stuff. But we ain't got that here. Everybody's
right.
pretty. I think we got a real good group here.
The commonality of it is music, and music sure. Just it's just it's a very uplifting thing.
It can be,
yeah, very much
it
so.
Sure can be.
Yeah, right.
The music itself, sure.
Mm-hmm.
The business of music, that's something that can beat you down.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It sure
right.
can.
Yeah,
it sure can beat you down. So I've talked to a couple of other instructors, and I don't know what order that these things will be put out, but everybody has a different relationship with music. Everybody's heard me say that a lot, and I've learned that working at the store. Customers that come in, people that play, everybody does it at a different level. Right. Everybody does it for a different reason.
Right.
And everybody, it seems like, that comes in the store, they expect everybody else to share their relationship with music. What I think about it is what you should think about it. And, because everybody lives in their own world, in their own bubble. And
sure.
Music is a very important thing to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons.
You bet.
For some people that we've talked to, it's a way to kind of express things that you don't have the words to do. Sure. It's sounds you hear in your head. There are emotions that you can get out. For some people, it's a way to unwind, and just kind of, it's a healthy way to unwind at the end of the day. And some people just play around and, have a good time with that.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, what is it? Is it all of the above? Is it a way that you express what you're feeling? Is it a way that you communicate ideas? What is it for you these
Well, it's
days?
changed over time.
Sure.
Once upon a time, it was I was bad. I played music to impress people more than anything else.
Right.
Not for me, but for you.
Right.
You know, I'd go to a music store and make people listen to me.
Right. You're that guy.
I was that guy. I was that guy. After the MS, that all kind of changed. You know, by not being able to play at all. And I used to tune the guitars to alternate tunings because I could make a chord out of it without having to actually play the chord.
Right.
And I used to drive Dave Donley crazy at his old store in Ackworth because I go down and retune everything.
Yeah, and not put it back.
And not put it back.
Yeah, there's a lot of that still goes on around here.
I did mainly, you know, as a joke today, but that's a whole nother story. But now music is therapy for me more than anything else.
Sure.
You said it right when you say that music speaks when words can't.
Sure.
Because you and my wife, she says she can tell what kind of mood I'm in by what kind of music I play.
Right.
I still, you know, hit distortion and play Hendrix on occasion, very rare occasion, but still sometimes you just feel like
we're
that.
still working on it.
That's right. But it's a therapy for me, and it's me and the Lord can talk through music too. Right.
Sure.
Right. So, and you know, ideas that come, it's not from me, it's from him. And
Right.
we kind of go from that with it, but yeah.
And I've heard you say this a lot about that story. You say it's, what is it that you say? It's not your story.
No, it's not my story. It's his. He just lets me tell
Right.
it. Right.
And I'm proud that you do. I've heard you
Yeah.
share it in the store.
Yeah,
100 times.
I can't not share it.
Right.
Right. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So these days your playing consists of teaching, which is the worst thing in the world for your playing.
It is. It kill you. It just kills you playing. But I play once a month at church. That's about all the playing I do anymore.
Right. That's all the playing out and
That's
noodling
it.
around at home.
I don't play out at all anymore.
Right.
I'm cool with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Something I've always thought interesting about you, and you touched on it earlier. You've got a need for speed, brother. You're wide open kind of guy.
That's inherited. My father was he was a busy guy.
Right.
And he didn't have time to piddle to get somewhere. You had to get there fast.
Get there quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Because you got to get there quick enough to do what it is that you got to do.
Right.
And that cost a few tickets along the way in my life, but that's.
Well, we got a clean driving record now.
Well, not yet.
Oh,
April it'll be clean.
Okay. Okay.
Lord, don't let me get a ticket.
Lord, you're gonna have to slow it down. So try to keep it under.
I'm
100.
doing much better. Right. Yeah.
It don't help that you drive them souped up little foreign cars
that's
too.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So old Greg's bougie. I never would have thought that about you. Old bougie, wearing them fancy shoes.
I didn't grow up that way. We grew up poor.
Sure.
You know, we were Church of God. Church of God of Prophecy was the church, and I remember, you know, my mother spent $15 one week on groceries, and she said, "Fred's going to kill me."
Right.
Right. So
it's a different time too.
it was. That's for feeding 5 people, but they brought us. They called them poundings.
Okay.
So they bring food to so we got to eat. But I didn't grow up with a whole lot. So when I got something, I went a little crazy.
Yeah.
With that.
Might as well.
Right.
Like I said, they're fun coupons, right? That's what money
fun.
is.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't always good stuff, but anyway, that's
right. It is these days. Though.
It is now. Amen.
Yeah, and we always need one more guitar, don't we?
Well, you know, I may have a problem there. It's I've had couple hundred, but anyway.
A couple hundred. Sure enough, if you had to think about how many guitars you've had over your guitar career, if you had to put a number on it.
Well, that's what I say when people say, "How many guitars do you have?" I say, "I have a number." 5's a number, 20's a number, 30's a number. I don't know, Josh. I would speculate maybe at least 150.
Tell me about the ones that you don't have that got away, because everybody's got that story.
Yeah, I've got 2 that I regret getting, and one is the '59 Gibson ES335 that I talked about.
Right, the one that sat in the corner for so long.
That's the one.
Should have just left it in the corner.
I should have, because they'll go up to around 60,000.
Yeah,
now.
Is that all?
It's something like that.
Right.
And in Tryon, Georgia, in 1964, my dad bought a SJ 100 Gibson at an auction for $15.
Okay.
And he was a preacher, so it leaned up against a pew in church, and it got banged up and scratched up, and it finally got cracked down the side.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You want that old Gibson?" I said, "Sure, I'll take it." I was doing some furniture building back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took it home and re-glued it and stripped it completely down
Hmm.
and refinished it.
Or to whoop you.
Well, see, I didn't know back then about vintage guitars. That there's more to this story. But
Back then it wasn't vintage though.
no, it was it was pretty
Well, it
vintage.
had a
It was
little age, but-
1939.
Well,
but
that ain't
anyway,
too bad.
But so, and it turned out beautifully. So
Sure.
Dave Donley, I took it down and showed it to Dave Donley, and he said, "You need to take that to George Gruen in Nashville and show it to him."
Right.
I went, well,
He's the world's authority on vintage
he
instruments.
certainly is.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to Kentucky, Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I said, "Well, I'll just take it and stop in at George." George Gruen spotted the case to that guitar, and he was over on his old store on Broadway, and he invited me up to the second floor with that guitar.
That was a cool building.
It was a cool building. And he set the case down, and he raised the lid on the case, and he went, oh, I hate to see one in that condition. I said, what do you mean? That thing's perfect. He said, yes, sir, it's beautiful. He said, that's not the way it was born. So Frankie Moach from Atlanta Vintage Guitars wanted that guitar, and he traded me a 54 and a 56 Gibson ES 125, a little bit of money and some few things for that guitar.
Right.
Well, he turned around and sold it back to George Gruen,
Right.
who completely refinished it back to the way it was.
The way it should have been with nitro and all that.
Exactly. And it didn't have a bridge on it. It had individual bridges that you could raise and lower on.
Okay. Yeah.
And I called Gibson about that one time. They said, well, we didn't make anything like that. I said, well, yeah, I'm looking at it. Actually, you did. But
Right.
anyway.
Gibson, man, Gibson's made some fine instruments over the years, but their record keeping,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
Being around folks that deal with these old banjos and get, stuff like that. Martin had it figured out. They built their first guitar and it was number one.
Exactly.
Their second guitar was number two.
Yeah.
Gibson,
And they have records of that.
And had records
Right,
of that.
yeah.
I don't know what's happened with Gibson after World War II, but they were trying all kinds of crazy stuff.
And trying was that's the word.
And I
right,
think
yeah.
they've kind of settled on something now that works as far as serial numbers and whatnot.
Right,
But
right.
at the time, I guess when that was built, they like we call them in the banjo world floor sweeps,
Right.
just whatever parts they had.
Exactly. FA5059. I remember the serial numbers too.
Right.
Though.
Now, what's your phone number?
I don't have
Exactly. Right.
I push Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it was all over the board, some of this
Sure.
old stuff. So they don't, no telling what that was supposed to win on, and they had an extra one.
Exactly. And when they moved from Kalamazoo to Nashville, it got even worse there
Sure.
for a while. So
Yeah.
right, yeah.
But yeah, that we get, every now and then we get some old stuff like that in. Well, what year is that? Well, I've been around long enough. I can get it pretty close, but I
Right.
say if it's a Gibson, I'll say, look, buddy, we might not be able to figure out the exact year, but
Right.
we can get you within
Get
4
in
or
the
5.
ballpark.
Yeah.
Right.
A
Yeah.
lot
4
of
or
time-
5 years. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
If you can get within 4 or 5 years, you're doing
Right.
pretty good with some of that
Right.
60s stuff, especially.
Sure. Right.
It's a crazy thing. I don't know what's going on in the world. It's just not logical. It don't seem like.
Well,
But-
not anymore. No.
well,
No.
I guess it's just getting worse and worse with time. So, you teach. You mentioned Atlanta Vintage Guitars. You still have some affiliation with them, right?
I do. I take pictures for their webpage.
Still taking pictures.
Still take pictures. It's a whole different thing because the guitars stay still. I don't have to chase them down.
They don't cry.
No, they don't. And I get to play some very fine instruments
I guarantee
to do
it.
that with.
Yeah, for anywhere around here, that's definitely the place to go to look for some vintage stuff.
Right,
a lot
right.
of little shops like us, we carry some stuff when we get it in,
Sure.
but that's kind of the go-to for your really, I'm talking about
Right.
big money
High dollar
stuff.
stuff. We had a 59 Les Paul in there a couple of months ago.
Right.
Right.
Well, is that still there?
No, it's gone. No.
I don't even want to know what that went for.
It was a lot.
I
It's a
guarantee.
fine home. It was a good house.
Right. I don't know about anymore.
No,
you
it's
might
still
could have got a
good
decent
house.
double wide for it now. The way things are.
Oh man, it did real well. This is a lot of numbers on there.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
back to you playing for just a minute. You mentioned you're a big jazz guy.
Mhm.
Do you own a flat hat? Because all these jazz guys got to have one of them flat hats.
No, I don't.
Good.
No.
Things are ugly, man. I'm sorry.
Well, our heritage is Scottish, so
Sure.
I've got the little Scottish hat, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, that's
I don't
different.
wear that and play
Okay.
jazz.
I give Justin and Marco such a hard time.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
both into the
Oh,
jazz thing, and I
exactly,
think you
right,
kind of
yeah.
helped guide Justin. and
I did. Yeah,
you ruined him.
Justin's one of my best students.
Justin's a great guy.
He's a blast. Yeah,
He's a good dude. Good player, too.
He's a lot better than I am, but
Oh.
that's okay.
Well, you've done forgot more than he'll ever know,
Well,
probably. So,
yeah.
but he come in with that flat hat on, and I'm like, Justin, come on, let me get you a ball cap. He's like, and he told me yesterday, I'm gonna get you a flat hat.
There you go.
I said,
Yeah.
don't you do it? I ain't doing it.
I actually got one when we went to Ireland. And
Did you?
Yeah,
That's different. That's a souvenir. So you're a world traveler these days. You do a lot of trips.
I
don't you?
am. My wife said after I retired, she said, "We're not going to sit home and rot." I went, "Okay."
Fair enough.
So we've crossed the water several times.
Yeah.
Going to do it one more time September.
So where you been lately? I know you've been over the big pond a few times the last couple of years.
Yeah, we did. Ireland was our first European run, and then we went to Italy the next year, and then Scotland the next year. And we're going to Scotland one more time, and hopefully that will be the last 10-hour flight.
Right. And they say there ain't no money in teaching guitar.
No, well, that's my wife.
Right.
That's my wife. She's pretty amazing finance here.
Right.
Because I spend it. You know me. I buy a guitar every week if you let me.
Well, I'll let you. I'll let you hear. But so when you went over to Ireland, there a lot of the American music comes from the Irish stuff, especially in my world, the roots music.
Does, right?
Was you exposed to any of that music over there while you were there?
Some. I tried to look for it. I went into somewhere and they were playing "Bye Bye American Pie." I said, "That's really not what I came to hear."
You can hear that here, can't you?
I'll play that for you.
I remember when Howard was here. I think he went and played over in Europe one time.
Right.
And Howard was a big beer drinking connoisseur,
Sure.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember him telling Dave. He said he went over there. He said, give me give me your most popular import, And they brought him a Budweiser.
Right.
He's like, good grief.
Oh dear Lord, help us! Right.
I don't know where they were at, but
no. Well, a lot of Bluegrass is from
100%
Irish music,
your roots
right.
music,
Yeah,
the heavy
you
influence,
got
and
it.
Bluegrass is the progression of your Appalachian and
Exactly.
old time music,
Right.
and a lot of Irish Celtic influence.
Exactly,
in
and
that,
then a
for
lot
sure.
of your hymns are Irish bar songs. So
Sure.
that's
A lot
right,
of them.
they
A
are,
lot of them,
right.
the melodies. They just change the words a little bit.
Sure, certainly, right. Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of influence in the roots
Right.
music. A lot of the Irish influence in a lot of the blues music too,
Certainly.
which I classify as roots music in
Certainly,
general.
sure, right.
So it's cool to go back to the mother country over
You
there
bet.
and see where it all started.
That's kind of where we're from, where Scotland
Right.
was home. But yeah,
Right.
My brother has us back up. He's done the lineage back to I think 700, 789, something.
way
like
on
that
back
range.
yonder.
So we were Vikings once upon a time. Ragnarsson is one of my guys.
Oh, Rag?
Oh, Rag, yeah.
Oh, Rag?
I don't know if he played guitar or not, but
Probably not. He's probably been good at it if he
he
wanted
probably
to.
would have been, yeah, when he wasn't killing people. But that's a
Yeah.
whole nother story.
That's a whole nother thing. And if he'd had a BMW, he'd got there in a hurry.
Man,
wouldn't
he got there quick.
I guarantee it.
Oh dear Lord, it's an old BMW. Come on, Josh, it's old. It's like
Yeah.
me, it's old.
Nah, it ain't too old. It still gets you around,
It's
don't it?
15 years old. That's
Oh,
right.
that ain't old. What are you talking
It's
about?
okay. Yeah. So,
I reckon so. So, when you went overseas to Europe, I'm sure you enjoyed everything for different reasons. Where's your favorite place? If you was going to go back to visit a place again, where would you go?
Well, different areas. Italy was pretty amazing when you're sitting in the Colosseum, a place that you've seen in books all your life, and
Sure.
you're actually sitting there and you think about the things that happened in that place.
Right.
Rome was amazing. The Vatican was amazing
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of different reasons, but my favorite was Florence.
Italy?
Italy.
Good food over there?
Food was really good in Italy. Not so much in Ireland and Scotland. They just
Yeah.
eat to survive. But
Yeah.
Italians can cook.
Sure.
Yeah. And their wine's good too, but that's a whole nother story. But they don't do all the additives that we do in it. And their
Right.
Guinness in Ireland was killer. It's nothing like our Guinness here.
Sure, I guess.
Our cab driver said your Guinness is crap, and he was kind of right. But anyway, because we add everything to it. But Florence was such a unique place. Michelangelo's works there, and
Right.
of course we saw Sistine Chapel in Rome. But
That's a feat to do that stuff.
it's amazing. that you
And
can
I don't
do it
know
like
the
that.
time period when that was done, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't last week. It was here a while
It's a
back.
couple days ago, right? And it's
How did they paint that stuff on that ceiling?
well, his scaffolding. That's how they came
I
up
guess
with
so.
scaffolding. He wasn't that tall, so
Couldn't have been, right? But just seeing pictures and on TV and stuff, it's
laying on his back, it's phenomenal when
Sure.
you sat there and look up and you think about what he had to do that.
right.
But the statue of David, to be that lifelike and smooth
Hmm.
with what they had to work with
Sure.
is astonishing.
Right.
It's priceless.
Sure. Yeah. How do you
It
put a
just
price
is.
on that
I
stuff?
think they have it insured for $1.
Right? Because why?
Or exactly.
Yeah, you can't replace it.
I really think that's what the insurance policy is for $1.
Right.
So,
Well,
that's kind of ironic too. But and they had some an old guitar there. I think it was from 1700s.
Okay.
It was kind of cool to look at. But and they don't tear anything down over there.
Right.
You know, we stayed in the hotels built in the 1500s.
Right. We think we have old stuff here.
We don't. We're not old enough to have old stuff.
A couple hundred years,
Exactly.
you know, you got some old stuff around here.
That's it. Right.
But they got old stuff.
They got old stuff.
And it stood for a long time.
Yep. Well, New Edinburgh was built in like 1600s. The New Town, they call it New Town.
Sure. Yeah. That's the New Town.
Maybe 1700s. I don't know. But right. Yeah.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. So you're going back when?
We're going in September.
And you're going where again?
We're going to Edinburgh.
Going to Edinburgh again.
Right.
So that'll be your second trip there?
It'll be second trip there.
Okay.
And we're going to go to the Kelpies and anyway.
Do all that good stuff.
Yeah, I go where the redhead wants to go.
Right.
Because I'm just happy to go.
Yep, go with her. Right?
Wherever she is, I'm happy to be there.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
You got it figured out finally.
I do. It took me a long time.
So
she'll tell you that.
You went to the Grand Canyon this year.
We did.
And you brought back something I've never seen. That's a picture of the Grand Canyon with snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that something?
We landed in Phoenix and we stayed in Sedona and we rented a car and we're headed towards Sedona and it started to sleet. Well, I was told Arizona was hot, take shorts.
Sure.
And we didn't, thank God, because we did check the weather report before we went. But as we're coming out of Phoenix, the car in front of me went into the guardrail, and I went, well, this may be a little slick.
You might want to slow down just a little bit in that old rental car.
So we climbed a long way up.
Yeah, pretty good ways.
I think it's 7,000 feet above sea level up where the Grand Canyon is. So and it's like 335, something like that in Phoenix. So we went straight up for about 2 hours.
Right.
And we stayed in Sedona, and then we went up to the Grand Canyon the next day, and it was snowing in the Grand Canyon.
It's a big old hole, isn't it?
It's a mile deep. It's hard to see the bottom.
I guarantee it.
You can.
Yeah.
But it's way down there. Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought when you said you were going, I'm like, that'd be fun for him. It'd be too hot for me to want to go. And you come back and it's darn snowed out there. I mean, I guess it does.
I know it does. Sense. I was there.
You just don't think about that.
You really don't. But it was amazing. It's kind of cool that it was snow because it showed different layers of the depth. I was trying to take pictures for a while and finally I just quit because pictures didn't do it justice.
Sure.
And I didn't want to lose the looking part of it for
right.
a picture of it.
You want to spend your time looking at it.
I put my camera up and looked at it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's a gorgeous place. There's a lot to see in this country.
I guarantee it. Right. This is an amazing country and vastly different from corner to corner.
Definitely. Right.
And so are the people.
Yes.
Oh, no doubt. It's like going to a whole nother country sometimes.
You bet.
Sometimes, but there's some cool stuff. That big hole in the ground, something I definitely want to go see one of these days.
And we did Utah the first year I retired because that was when COVID was going on, so nobody went anywhere as far as crossing the world. Yeah. But Moab was great. Canyonland, the Arches, all that. It's beautiful. That's where all your cowboy movies are filmed out west.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen all that stuff.
You betcha. Yeah.
Watching all them Clint Eastwoods.
You betcha. Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
John Wayne, he was right there.
And that's just cool. Old Duke. He was a bad dude.
He got it.
I forget what movie it was. There was a horse. I can't remember which John Wayne movie it was, but I remember he punched that horse and knocked it down.
That was Blazing Saddles.
Was that in Blazing?
Yeah, that was Mel Brooks.
Oh,
Blazing
might have
Saddles. Been. Right. That was.
I think it might have been a John Wayne movie that did that too, an older one.
Alex Karras is the one that knocked the horse down, the old football player.
I remember my papa telling me, he said, "You know what that means right there, son?" He said, "That means he's got more than one horsepower right there." And I always thought that was hilarious.
That is good.
The Gettin' in Tune podcast is always brought to you by Donley's Music, proudly serving the North Georgia area for over 30 years. Located in Hickory Flat, Georgia, Donley's Music was founded by David Donley with this simple mission in mind: serve the community. And for decades, that's exactly what we've been doing. We specialize in music lessons. We've been voted best music lesson program by our community for well over a decade. Whether you're picking up an instrument for the very first time or refining your craft, our team of passionate and award-winning instructors will be glad to help you reach that next level. Need a repair? No problem. We've got you covered. From basic setups to complex restorations, our master luthier, Dan Atchison, brings over 50 years of experience to every job. We also buy, sell, and trade new, used, and vintage instruments, gear, and accessories. Guitars, amps, banjos, drums, pedals, picks, you name it, we probably got it, or we can at least help you find it. Follow us on social media to stay in the loop with what's going on around the shop. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for exclusive content, the Gettin' in Tune podcast, and much, much more. Visit us at www.donleysmusic.com. That's DONLEYSMUSIC.com, or swing by the store and see why generations of musicians have trusted Donley's music. Donley's Music, helping make music great again since 1994. So,
That's funny.
we've covered your testimony, being healed from MMA, your history and music, all that kind of good stuff. Here lately, what we've been doing to wrap this up, just to help folks get to know you a little bit more, I've got a list of questions here. We call it our rapid fire. Okay. And this just all in good fun, but just try to answer them first thing that comes to mind.
No pressure.
And we get some fun out of this too, so it's pretty funny. So don't think too hard on it. It's not that deep, as they say. What's your favorite food, Greg?
Oh, dear Lord.
Rapid fire, Greg.
I don't know. Steak.
All right, there you go. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Acoustic or electric?
Acoustic now.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early.
You like coffee or tea better?
A lot of coffee.
How do you like your steak cooked?
Rare.
Atta boy.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, neither.
Hey, there you go. Are you a mountain guy or a beach guy?
Mountain.
All right. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, dear Lord. Forrest Gump.
Hey, that's a good safe answer.
Yeah.
What's your go-to gas station snack?
Lord, as little as possible. Crackers.
Crackers. All right.
Can't mess them up.
It's hard to mess up a cracker. What's your biggest pet peeve?
People without turn signals.
Amen, brother. All right. If you're texting, what emoji do you use the most?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
There you go.
What's your favorite season of the year?
Fall.
If you wasn't doing what you're doing right now, being retired, what would you be doing? This question might not apply to you as much. I think you're doing what you want to be.
Playing music.
There you go. What's your favorite day of the week?
Sunday.
Attaboy. It's sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Now we're getting to the hard-hitting question. You ready? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Okay. We get mixed answers on that. What skill do you not have but you wish that you did?
Oh, dear Lord. I was going to say music.
Come on now.
Art.
Art. Well, music is art. But so you're
right.
talking about drawing and painting.
I used to be artistic. I wish I had stayed with it.
Right. Well, I can see that with music and photography and all that. It takes an artistic eye, doesn't it?
Right.
If you could jam with any musician, living or dead, who would it be?
Phil Kagi.
Phil Kagi, okay. And then this one is the big controversy. This is what we sit around and talk about around here when it's slow.
Okay.
Do you think there's more windows or wheels in the world?
Windows or wheels?
Or wheels in the world.
Oh, my.
That's a topic of thinking right there, brother.
Oh, I would hope it'd be windows.
You'd hope it would be?
Yeah, right.
Start thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of windows, but there's a lot of wheels, too.
I know there's a lot of wheels, right? Yeah,
just,
wheels are kind of in everything, I guess.
They are.
Right?
There's a lot of windows, too.
They sure are, yeah.
See, that's stuff we think about around here.
You could... Wow, that's an odd question.
Isn't it, though?
Right, it is.
It's something to think about. Because people say, well, wheels is what most people say. Every car's got 4. I'm like, yeah, but they got 6 windows.
They do. Exactly.
Well, what about the steering wheel? Oh, here we go. And it starts adding up quick. And then
there
they say, well, them skyscrapers.
Well,
look at all the windows.
Look at all those windows.
I know it. But every one of them rooms has got how many office chairs with wheels on the bottom?
That's true.
See, you can just go forever on this.
That's a good question, Josh.
It really is.
I look at it as windows. You can look out at windows to see things. And there's so many things to see that people miss seeing.
They do.
And hearing. Seeing and listening are 2 of the most important things that we could do, and we don't do enough of either. That's of those. Right.
Hearing and listening are 2 completely different things.
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely. Right.
Most people are looking through this window nowadays. That's their telephone or a computer screen or something like that. There's a lot going on out here when you're staring right there.
It's a busy world.
I think the more we can put that down and look around, kind of like the old days. I think that would go a long way.
I remember them because I'm old.
Well, the OG, right? The old guy.
Amen. Yeah, I'm happy to be the old guy.
Right. So the next question I ask everybody to kind of wrap it up is, what's your Mount Rushmore of musicians? Guitar players, singers, whatever it is. What's your Mount Rushmore?
Well, it have to be guitar players. there's so many guitar players that can do things that I can't, that I'm jealous of, that they can make you feel something by what they play.
Right.
There was an old musician. He's passed away now. He was an odd duck. His name was Michael Hedges, and he could transport you to a lot of different places with his music.
Right.
Right. Different styles.
Okay.
And he played a lot of different styles, but I envy that to a point.
So he's one. You got 3 more on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh Lord, 3 more musicians.
That's tough, isn't it?
It is tough. I go back to Phil Kagi because I love Phil Kagi. I got saved listening to Phil Kagi. So he always had a special place in my heart, and I got to meet him and spend time with him, and that was wonderful. Stevie Ray, when I was coming up, and Jimi Hendrix, I guess, would be the 2.
That's the Mount Rushmore for Greg Montgomery.
Pretty much, right? Yeah.
All right.
And that's a lot of variance in styles there.
Sure. Sure. A lot of different chords can be played.
A lot of different chords. You got it. Yes, sir. Tuck Onders. I'll do one more. I love Tuck Onders.
We'll put him on the backside.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a standby.
Yeah, we can name it forever and ever.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I ask this question to everybody, but I ain't got mine figured out yet either. There's a lot of different things.
Oh boy.
So, piece of advice for young people wanting to get into music, wanting to start playing music. What advice have you gathered through the wisdom of all these years of working with folks and playing yourself that you would give to somebody looking to get into it, young or old, anybody interested in it?
Yeah. Well, music is very, very personal. So you have to be you. Don't play music trying to be somebody else. Even if you're playing somebody else's song, you don't have to play it as they play it. Play it as you would play it.
Right.
I find a lot of people that want to play it verbatim as somebody did, and I
Sure.
say, "Well, are you them?"
Right.
And they say, "Well, of course not." I said, "Right. So play it as you. Play that style as yours."
We've got a lot of different answers on that too.
Right.
But the common thread amongst almost everybody is just do it.
Do it.
Just get in there and do it.
Exactly. And I had a young man come to me one time that kind of opened my eyes to all this, and he said, I wrote a song. I want you to play it and see what you think about it. And I stopped him. I said, "Do you like it?" He said, "I sure do." I said, "Well, it doesn't matter what I think about it."
That's true.
Right.
Play for yourself.
Play for yourself.
That's your advice,
You
right?
got it. Amen.
Very
Right.
good. Very good.
Right.
Cool. Look at that camera right there. Tell everybody they need to subscribe to the channel, all that kind of good stuff.
There you go.
And come see us at Donley's.
Hit the like button, subscribe, and come see us at Donley's. There's not a finer store around.